That's my jam right there, dog.
It's so true. You got
it's
nothing
like
else going on.
you know, like Nick Cage and
Nick Cage.
you know, what was it?
How many years
The
old is
car
this reference
movie.
going to be?
You know what I'm talking about? The car movie. What the hell? I can't get it right now. Gone in 60 seconds, and he's like, "Yes, this is the song." It should have been.
Got it. Well, you know, it just means we're going to talk Southern California racing here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. He's Barry. I'm Louie. Thanks for hanging out with us on yet another edition of the program. Of course, find Barry on the socials at Urban Handicapper. You can find me at Radio Louie all throughout the socials. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're here every Friday ahead of Saturday's card in Southern California. Right now, of course, we're talking Del Mar for this week and next. And then we will move back to Santa Anita later on in September. But Barry, good Friday to you. Not Good Friday. It's not Easter this weekend, but happy Friday to you. How are you?
Yes, happy Friday, my man. Just you know,
little Easter reference
along,
in August.
limping through the week.
I wanted to address something. I really hope Del Mar does okay tomorrow because according to Andrew Champagne, you cannot run two cards on the same day. And so just a heads up, man, I'm really sorry for Del Mar. Other places are running tomorrow. I can't believe this is happening. So I just really hope.
One track at a time, Holmes.
Yeah, it's really, really tough day. Tough day. I don't know how we're all going to do it. But anyways, we're presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. Go check them out right now. 100% deposit match up to $50 for new customers. Beautiful site over there at Amwager.com. Make sure you go check them out. You can wager anywhere in Southern California on their website. Of course, a pair of grade twos at the end of the card here. Barry races 9 and 10. The Pat O'Brien, the dirt sprint at 7 furlongs. And the Del Mar handicap, of course, at 1 mile and 3/8. A little horse named Gold Phoenix going for how many in a row, Barry?
5, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, for 5 in a row. Has one.
I thought it was 4.
Yep.
Okay. 5.
Your face is 4.
5.
All right. So, we'll go for a lot of those. Gold Phoenix, of course. We appreciate him. Ouch, indeed. My favorite thing about these qualifiers for the Breeders' Cup. So, the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint on the dirt is 7 furlongs. The boys go 6, right? Because there's also a dirt mile, right? And you don't want to have a 7 and an 8 and it just, whatever. If you're at Churchill, you would just start at different points in the chute, like that kind of thing, or, at Saratoga, whatever. Oh. And, but like, it is funny that like 2/3 of the qualifiers for these races aren't at the distance that they're run at the Breeders' Cup. Is it not? Is that not a little funny? Are we not laughing at that? Is that not funny? Anyone? No,
that's chuckle worthy.
There's a guy from the Breeders' Cup right over here. Not funny? No? Sorry, Bill. All right. I don't know who Bill is. I just assume there's a Bill. Wayne. Don't you just assume there's a Bill in horse racing? Like if there's an organization,
Bob.
there's a
there
Bill.
Is a Bob. Right? Our buddy Bob Ehalt, the man.
Well, I had him on the show today. That, by the way, that's up at Horse Racing Happy Hour right now. If you want to go hear his Saratoga thoughts. Again, there are multiple tracks running tomorrow. I hope everybody's going to be okay with exactly that. On this show, by the way, we will not have a Jeff Mullins play of the day for Louie. That was very sad for me. Barry does have a boring play of the day. And of course, we'll go inside the mind of Spears. I apologize in advance for all of that, but I am Louie Rabeau. He's Barry Spears. We are here every Friday, as I said, talking through Southern California racing. We cap the card every single Friday. Costs you nothing to hang out with us. So find us each Friday, wherever you are right now, for the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Made special weight. And I'll do it. Is this the race of the day tomorrow at Del Mar?
No.
Okay. What is the race of the day tomorrow at Del Mar?
The last one.
Okay. It's the handicap. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not first, you're last. And we're going with the last. Yeah.
If you're not last, you're first. We'll go to race 1, made special weight here. 6 furlongs on the dirt. 2-year-olds running in this one. We get a son of Flightline, a son of Uncle Mo, a son of Nyquist, and a son of Jack Christopher, and a son of Essential Quality. This is the sound of me rubbing my hands together. Barry, who'd you land on to race 1?
Yeah, this was a kind of a difficult race. I mean, it's hard to ignore any progeny of Flightline that gets on the track at this point. They've been spectacular at every turn. But I'm going to go against the grain here a little bit and go against number 1, Ala Sawab, with the stablemate, the 4, Gallant Jack. There's a lot to like here. The Dam won at first asking. There's a half sibling that won first time out. The workout on August 24th is the longest, fastest gate work closest to the race, which checks off another box. John Sadler does very well with first-time starters in general. And I think that spells for a horse that's kind of flying under the radar thanks to the Flightline progeny on the rail. So I don't know if we'll get 12-1, but we're definitely not getting 6-5 or 9-5. So I'm okay with this.
4, 3, and 1 for Barry in race 1. That is a John Sadler trainee, son of Jack Christopher, Gallant Jack. I will go with one of those aforementioned sons of, and that is Richelli, the 9-5 Bob Baffert trainee in here. Juan Hernandez was aboard Emancipate last time. Bob has asked him to ride Richelli here in this spot, a son of Nyquist, $850,000 purchase, like all of these horses were at the Keeneland September sale last year. This one's an interesting one. Another Starlight, of course. Bob, the demise of Bob Baffert greatly overestimated, in my point. 13 times hitting the top 2 spots at Del Mar in 28 runs, including 7 wins this meet there. Emancipate was not one of those. Finished 4th on debut in the Inshallah race. They're running him back already, Barry. I think it's very, very interesting that he's in here. My sense is, do you think Emancipate will scratch out of here? This was just to make the race go.
No, I think
you got 2 weeks he'll run here.
Yeah, I think they'll run because that horse obviously
he's got to work since then.
Yeah, he does, but I still think that this is a logical spot for a horse like that. I mean, he's 3-1 on the morning line. It's not like he doesn't have a shot to win this, but it's just probably a preference at this point. But I would expect that one to run.
I'll go 3, 1, and 4 in here for me. I'll try Richelli on top here. You talk about Gateworks. This is one that has similar to what you're talking about with Gallant Jack and the first timers when Baffert does put Juan Hernandez aboard at Del Mar. He means business for sure. And so I will go ahead and play that one. I'll put Al Sawab in the second spot, the son of Flightline. Then I went to your 4, man. I think Gallant Jack has all of the trappings of a horse that can absolutely not just compete in this race, but win it. And so 3, 1, and 4 for me in here. Barry, we got the same horses, just different orders. Anything you wanted to add to the talk there about Al Sawab or about Richelli?
No, I think we got the right ones. I did take a long look at the 5, but I figured that one might be the odd man out in this race.
Bid will break for Doug O'Neill. Second timer. He's entered as well yesterday at Del Mar, but he will run tomorrow there. Finished 7th on debut. Keeps MSI Jaramillo in the irons. We move on to race 2. Started the early pick 4 at Del Mar. Tomorrow he's Barry. I'm Louis. Thanks for hanging out with us on yet another edition of SoCal Saturdays. Race 2 is into the claiming ranks. Maiden 20 here, 5.5 on the dirt. Maidens that are 3 and up on this one, Barry. I'll go first. With it being an even numbered race. And so I went 10, 2, and 3 in here, which means I've got the outside horse. I'll try the Armando Ayuso ridden Ride the Tiger, who's been at this level the last 2 times out. Not to great results necessarily. 6th and 5th place altogether, but did have the lead in both races. If they can get this horse to slow down even a little bit here, second off the layoff, and I think they're going to try to do that by taking the blinkers off. If this one just cools off by, say, a second and a half in those early fractions, Barry, I think he'll have plenty left in the tank for him to get there to the finish. This son, obviously, of the Cal sire, Smiling Tiger, the name we hear so often out there at Del Mar and Santa Anita. I think he's got a really, really good shot here. I'll go 10, 2, and 3, meaning Carolina Legacy, second-time starter for John Sadler. Tried it at Los Al the first time out under Kyle Frey. Got its legs underneath us. Now it's time to actually do some work here. And second timers under John Sadler do win at 16%. When they come back off of this kind of time off, they win at 18%. So 10, 2, and 3 for me in here, Barry, means that I've got Red Hot Lead. Blaine Wright, man, sneaky good odd debut with horses, 20% with that number. Small sample size for sure, but has won in twice in his last 7 times debuting in Maiden Claiming Company. It's another Cal bred in here by my standards. Everyone remembers that guy. He was quite the horse. Yeah. Is the sire here standing out there in California? 3-year-old gelded son here. And I just like the works, Barry. I think they're pretty consistent. They're not the fastest that you're going to see, but frankly, this isn't a terribly fast group. And so Red Hot Lead, I would look for that one to go ahead and hit the trifecta in this race. So 10, 2, and 3 for me. Barry, you went in a very different direction. You went to the 8 here with Sigma Boy, 3rd-time starter. For maybe John Sadler sleeps the open double, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is it's a pretty good chance that Sadler's gonna take this double. He's got 2 horses in this race too. One of which is probably gonna get bet a lot more than the one that I like, which is the 8 Sigma Boy. Those 2 races on the grass. I can understand why they tried this horse on the grass. So War Will. I've heard a lot of his progeny does seem to be a little turfy. But this horse did, kind of ran even both times. I think the drop in class, the change to dirt makes a lot of sense in a race where it could be a little bit wide open. I mean, Ride the Tiger is on the way outside. This horse hasn't really shown the ability to keep the speed going. I know they're getting blinkers off, but that might not be enough. So I'm looking elsewhere, and Sigma Boy is where I land. The workouts are good. The August 8th one in particular, 1 minute and 3 handily from the gate. And then the last one on August 24th was pretty decent. Sets them up good for this. I think the experience matters as well. Okay. So I think we'll get a fair price on Sigma Boy, especially with the, nondescript jockey. This one might not be coming.
Owned by John Sadler as well, dropped in for 20 here. As you mentioned, you went to Marion Magic second here, the 9 horse in this race for your second spot, a first timer for Paul Aguirre. Not a big operation, Barry, but boy, the percentages are always there with Paul, are they not? And so I'm not surprised that you would go here because frankly, small sample size or not, the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah. I think he does well and he picks his spots. This might not have been the best spot for him to pick because this race is kind of wide open, but I think this horse might have some potential. Vaqueros run pretty good. The ones that I've seen, I know this horse didn't sell for all that much. So obviously there's some sort of physical issues going on there, but that's how you end up in a $20,000 claim first time out. Joe Bravo's riding well, getting Lasix first time. I'll give this one a shot at a decent price. These horses, the ones that have run, not all of them look that great, so I'll give that one a shot.
And you obviously think Yowtown getting back to sprinting like Yao Pone, the father here, the sire of this one, makes a lot of sense for the 6 horse as well under Umberto Rispoli here.
Yeah, that first run they had was pretty decent behind Mococo, who I think is running in the stake later on in the card. And then the second time they just didn't get out of the gate, got hit and didn't, broke slow and then got bumped around a little bit. The drop in class makes sense. The cutback makes sense. I think this horse is pretty live at 7-2. I mean, I was just afraid that price might get a little bit too low.
8, 9, and 6 for Barry in race 2. I'll go 10, 2, and 3. Del Mar Saturday. We are rolling along here on the horse racing happy hour. We get to yet another part of the rolling pick 3s in the middle of the card. An optional claimer awaits us in race 3 mile on the dirt. $81,000 on the line here for non-2 lifers. Hamari is back here, Barry, breaking from the rail. Horse that we saw win on debut for Bob Baffert earlier in the meet and frankly earlier in the month under Juan Hernandez. He'll keep them out here for the Baumo folks. And some others in here, though, that I think are very, very interesting. It's not a huge field. Medjugorje on the outside, we've seen a couple of different times, finally did break through once moving to dirt 2 back. I thought ran really well last time as well. Are you going with Hamar or are you going somewhere else here?
I'm going somewhere else. I like the 3, Cozy Curlin Kitten. I think this horse is really, kind of gotten better and got claimed at the right time by Doug O'Neill. This horse won an open $40,000 claimer. They stepped her up on the grass, going a mile, which doesn't seem to be her bag, even though she's run on grass and won on grass previously. I don't think that's her best surface. I think the change to dirt makes a lot of sense. Going a mile obviously makes sense. I think she's going to be a lot more closer to the pace than she was obviously the last couple of times. But it sets up pretty well because Hamari has a lot of speed. No Cap has some speed, and they'll have to get involved. Harmonique's won 1 race going long, and they were on the lead the whole way. I would gather they want to be forwardly placed. So there might be a situation where there's some, the pace gets a little hot, or even an honest pace would work for Cozy Curlin Kitten because the numbers are there. This horse just needs a little bit of a setup, and I think they're going to get it.
It's a fascinating field. I'm going to go with the chalk here. Stunner to Barry. I'll go inside to Hamari, second time starting here for Bob Baffert. But the sprinter route angle for him is as good as it gets in the country. 32% with horses doing exactly this. And frankly, when they win their last starts, they win at 37% coming back to the track, do Baffert trainees. So I will just ride with the daughter of Nyquist. And Barry, I was trying to think about it, and maybe you can help me with this, but I don't think there is one. I know the Malibu. I know that race in December for 3-year-olds. Is there a 3-year-old filly race at Santa Anita coming up here? Because let's say she wins here. She's not going to be a distaff horse. Let's just be clear, right? I mean, we don't need to put that kind of, pressure on Amari after her second
Come
start
on.
at Del Mar in optional claiming company. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is, I mean, if this is a Baffert that they think has something here, and look, it's a royally bred horse, a daughter of Nyquist, tapping on the dam side. Obviously, they think distance is going to be the thing here, moving her to a mile immediately on second start. Frankly, she even debuted at 6.5. That's a bit longer than a lot of horses want to debut at, Barry. So clearly they think distance is in her future. Is there a 3-year-old filly race that I'm just forgetting at this point?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so she
There's
might be a
not much
candidate
going on other than, like Breeders' Cup stuff. But
I think I'll put it out there. I think if she wins this race, they train up to the Raven Run at Keeneland in October.
that makes sense.
Mid-October,
Yeah.
7 furlongs. It'll be enough of a distance for her. You know what I mean? I think that Hamari really, frankly, would fit in there. She'd get a grade 2 opportunity that way. They could wheel her back for a 4-year-old campaign. Obviously not debuting until August. Changes those plans a bit, but that's what races like the Raven Run are for, right? Or later blooming horses, that kind of 3. I'll go 1, 4, and 3 in here, Barry, which means I have Amari on top. Harmonique is an interesting one to be coming out of a maiden breaking win, only because this is one that really couldn't put it together as a 3-year-old. They bring her back in May, and she's kind of nowhere to be found, but the speed figure says she did okay. And going back to a Barryism, she at least came back running. Well, she comes back and they try the dirt again at Del Mar, and she really likes it under Joel Rosario. I hate that he doesn't have the mount here, but Umberto Rispoli picks it up. They'll need to be near the front or on the front to win this race. This is a horse that almost broke her maiden in August of last year, finally did it this year. I like that they're wheeling this one back on 2 weeks rest. I think that means they think in the Drysdale barn that she's really, really ready to go. So I think my cold exacta here would be 1, 4. So 1, 4, 3 in here. You got the 3, 5, and 2, Barry. I got the 1, 4, 3. We'll call that race 3. How about that?
Oh, that makes sense.
All right, there you go. Louis Riverboat, Barry Spears hanging out with you. Race 4, Del Mar, coming up here on the next part of the analysis, and a $16,000 start allowance here, mile on the turf for $35,000 here. And this is 3 and up. And of course, you have to have started for a claiming price of that kind of horse that we've seen quite a bit on the circuit, Barry, that we've talked about a lot. Kaysen will break from the 2-hole here, but I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to leave that one in the 3rd spot. I'll go 3, 4, and 2 here, which means I have Pacer on top, Barry, and I'm going to ask everybody to follow me on this one. So this is one that goes ahead and wins a maiden 20 going 6 furlongs at Santa Anita in May. Comes back after getting trained and gets dropped into a 16 non-2s. Thiago Pereira picks up the mount there and wins at Los Al. Well, they go ahead, does Hronis racing, and claims this one for 16, puts him in for 25. And look, this is a son of Nyquist, right? This is a $300,000 purchase at one point. So someone said, "Hey, we'll pay 25 for this." And so not only did the Hronis Racing folks get the win, they went ahead and sold this one for 25. It's a pretty good job. And so this one goes out against 25s, drops back into this company. I think this is the move. I think Doug O'Neill knows exactly what he's doing. Trying the turf here, there's such a Doug O'Neill move with a pacer. But again, a Nyquist, a Candy Ride Dam, to me, Barry, this one makes a ton of sense. I get really, really nice numbers on this. And then I looked over at your side of the ledger. You got the 3 on top as well. I don't know if it's the same kind of handicapping, but this is a Doug O'Neill special. And frankly, if you're good on the dirt at Los Al like this one was, I expect you to be good on the turf.
Yeah, I'm not so sold on that as you are with the Los Al turf thing. It does apply, but I don't think it's that effective. But I do think Pacer has the ability to get to the lead here. I just think they're just better and faster than Midnight Musket, who's shown some speed in the past, but really looks like that horse wants a target. Joe Barrow has been riding very, very well. Yeah. And I think he'll have the mindset to be forwardly placed here. Whether he gets the lead or not is another story, but I think he's going to force the issue no matter what. And that probably is the best move for horses like this that really are kind of lacking that final punch, which, you see the horse was in a non-winners of 2, but this horse hasn't run very much in comparison to everybody else, only 4 starts. And then you have Goldfoot, who has 28. You have Druidic has 47 starts. So this isn't the easiest of races, but given the pace scenario, I think Pacers is going to go to the lead and be able to outlast these. Druidic is a horse that's interesting to me because this horse has been running in pretty good races and finishing well, but just not finishing well enough. This sort of company makes sense They've run well in the past in this company at Santa Anita and at Del Mar a couple of times last year in July and August. So just a different rider. They had Fresu last time, gets Kimura, who's also aggressive. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one kind of gets into the race a lot earlier, and it probably is to their benefit.
Interesting. Yeah, this is one they've allowed to really sit back in these mile races. And so often, Barry, we talk about it a lot. It's that in between of a route and a sprint, right? And so often, so many of those horses are trying to chase down sprinters that just have too much of a lead. You went 3-5-2. I went 3-4-2. Goldfoot 3-1 here for Sam Walensky, who does have a win, and 4 horses that have hit the board in 10 starts during the Del Mar meet. Smaller barn here, 51 starts this year, but Armando keeps them out on this one that just missed behind Grandismo last time out, and has run well at the distance before. And so 3 seconds in a win at the distance. I hate the fact that this horse finished second, but I also didn't put this horse on top for that reason. And so Goldfoot will be my second in my handicapping here. 3-4-2 for me in race 4. Barry 3-5-2 in race 4, Del Mar on a Saturday. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louis Ribot, and this is SoCal Saturdays, represented by Amwager and Amwager.com. Of course, go check them out on the site. A 100% deposit match for you. If you are a new customer, up to $50, you put in 50, they put in 50. Have fun with the Pat O'Brien and the handicap this weekend down at Del Mar. The pick 6 starts here. $2 traditional pick 6 there at Del Mar. 6 furlongs on the dirt, and a state bred maiden 50, $40,000 on the line. And this is on the male side of things. 3 and up, Barry. We get a nice field of 12 in here. Glad they did not cap this field at 10. And so we will get 12 runners in here. Not that that matters to you, because none of your horses are double digits.
None of them.
Who'd you land on?
I landed on the 8.
Which is double digits in a different way.
Yeah, this horse, I don't think the double digits will hold here.
I agree.
Number 8 still bulletproof. If you get rid of those 5 furlong, the turf race on July 19th and the May 25th race, the 6.5 on the turf on the 6.5 flat.
Yep.
This horse's dirt efforts are pretty good in comparison to the rest of the field, and they seem to be improving. It's just the turf races that this horse has kind of overshadow the good races in between. And I think this horse is running, is going to be like kind of below the radar slightly. I know the barn is 0 for 21 at this meet, but all it takes is 1. They have good stats going turf to dirt. This horse is steadily training. I think we can throw one downfield and try to catch a nice price here in race 5, especially to close out the pick 5. There's really, again, not much in here as far as what you can choose from. Some of these horses can be eliminated right off the bat. So there's a few, but I think still Bulletproof has a good chance at a big price.
Still Bulletproof, a son of Idiot Proof. One fun son of a gun on the damn side. So of course you get still Bulletproof. 8, 6, and 7 for Barry. I'll go a different direction here. 3, 9, and 10 for me in this one. And Barry, guess what I found? I also found a 20-1 shot that I like in this race. And that's Quality Gold. Tried the maiden special last time under Edgar Payeras. Didn't work out. But before that was in a 6 furlong dirt race at Santa Anita and missed by a length under Edgar Payeras, who, by the way, is having a decent meet, man. 4 wins for that guy at this. Yeah. Good for him. It's fun to watch him grow up in thoroughbred ranks for sure. We're so used to him dominating so many of those quarter horse races at Los Alamitos. It is very nice to see him doing exactly this. But if you look at when he drops into the 50 level here, the 2 times at 6 furlongs at Santa Anita Park, 3rd by 3/4, 2 by half a length, and I get 20-1. Many of the same arguments that Barry made about his top pick in this race, the 8, I think absolutely apply here for the Edwin Alvarez trainee. And so looking for this one to run a big race here. Has been training at San Luis Rey like so many horses do in Southern California. So I'll go 3, 9, and 10 here, Barry, throwing one way downfield. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going 8-1 for my second horse here, dropping out of the maiden special wings, taking off the blinkers to try to get this one to chill out just a little bit. Now, concern here, we're going back to dirt. I think this one might be a touch better on turf, but if this horse can just chill out a little, the starts have all been great. It's not the starts for this horse. It is the finishing that matters. If Bautista can get this one to chill out just a little bit for Val Brinkerhoff, I think we'll have something to look at. So look at this, 20-1, 8-1, cold exactas for your face, Barry. How about that? You went 8, 6, and 7, which of course would be a 20-1 and 10-1 exacta. Barry can't be outdone by me, folks. That's how that goes. What do you think of Daddy Star, though?
I think this horse ran pretty good first time out. I can
I agree.
forgive that effort. They got off slowly. They were out wide and just didn't get the most ideal trip. And it was a typical kind of first time starter sort of trip that you see where horses come back and improve. Again, this race I think is wide open. Like we both have 20-1s on top, so this can go a lot of different directions. So
Sure.
Why not? I mean, this horse looks just as good as any. Didn't run a poor race the first time. I think they can improve upon that and get in the picture here.
Do you know what this race reminds me of, Barry? Is capping? When you're capping at Turfway, for example.
Oh yeah.
And you see a 15-1, a 20-1, and a 15-1. And you're like, all of those make sense. So you take those three and you put them in the middle leg of a rolling pick three, right? You try to catch, your fellow players off guard and you try to hit them in the middle of the. I might do that with this race. Play 4, 5, 6, something like that, or end with this race 3, 4, 5, something like that. Press a little bit of chalk earlier if I feel like that's going to come through, which I do, right? But if I think this is the race where we're going to catch a price, man, I think you could put 4 or 5 horses in this race, Barry, that are double-digit odds or 8-1 or longer at least. Go against the betting public a little bit that way. This is that kind of race for me.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because, the name of the game is trying to find value. And the best way to do that, especially if you're a multi-race bet player, is to find horses in the front of these bets that knock out other players that are in the pool.
Yep.
So horses like the 8, the 3 here would be great to start a pick 3 or even in the middle, like you were talking about,
right?
In order to knock people out to get the higher value. Yep. So it's definitely worth thinking about, especially when you go through an entire card. You look at the semblance of order with everything, and then you can pinpoint specific bets. Like my thought initially, and probably will be tomorrow, is to bet through this race and try to hit this race going through the multis, doubles, pick 3s.
Right. So in other words, what Barry's talking about, we could play multiple pick 3s based on our opinion of this race. So 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Frankly, you could start the pick 6 here if you've got that kind of bankroll with some of those longer shots, because Barry, even if you go 5 for 6, pick 6 at Del Mar very often goes 5 for 6. If you hit this leg, man, I mean, that is part of what can really push you over the top. And make sure that you're in that 5 out of 6 group.
Yeah. There's always that possibility it'll chalk out, but this is one of those kind of races that you can really pinpoint that probably
and
not going to be chalky.
Lower level claimers later in this card as well. So, I mean, there is an opportunity legitimately for some things. If you think Gold Phoenix, for example, is a mortal lock or whatever, obviously that's a very different kind of conversation, but there are races on this card and certainly later in the sequence that will allow for that kind of value as well. Well, he's Barry. I'm Louie. That was race 5. Rounding up, of course, the early pick 5, the start of the late pick 6, excuse me, start of the late pick 6 there at Del Mar tomorrow. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Late pick 5 starts here in race 6. It is a state bred maiden special weight. We're on the turf for this one. 5 furlongs, 2-year-old fillies in here, Barry. It's an even numbered race, so I will go ahead and put my wrong numbers on the board. 6, 8, and 10 for me. And here, Petite Marie is a second timer for Tyler Bays and Paula Capestro. And so we'll see if Paula's trainee here can get it done. This one just missed last time out. That was at Del Mar. That was at the beginning of the month. So we will run it back here with this daughter of Mr. Big. Not to be undersold here, a $50,000 state bred purchase at the sale there in 2025 for Fasig Tipton. And I think this is an interesting horse to watch going forward, because I think she's going to win here, and I think she's going to be interesting moving forward. Tyler Bays rides, as I said. The only thing I don't love is that Paula's got very limited numbers. It's hard to know what works. Second-time starters don't do great for her, but the number's also very small. She usually doesn't get maidens like this, Barry. But I think has done a very good job with this horse. The workouts make sense. In the workout right before the last work, really pointed to a good start. She got that. And so hopefully she'll get out of the gate even better this time and be ready to go. 6, 8, and 10 for me means that in the second spot, as I completely screwed my notes, I apologize. It's a terrible job by me. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. It's been a long week. Happy Heat Wave. This is what Barry calls his entire life.
For real, that's true.
Was second time starter for Alexis Barba. Look at me. Helping out the smaller stables with my picks, or absolutely cursing them. It's one of the two, Barry. I can't decide which one it is, but this is one that debuted in that same race right behind Petite Marie, about a length back, frankly, in that one. has been working pretty well at Del Mar as well. Not a lot of stats for Alexis Barba, but would be going for career win number 1. So good luck to the Barba Barn. Hopefully Antonio Fresu can ride this one to a victory there. And then the 10 for a person we have heard of, Carla Gaines. I'm kidding. Just settle down. Settle down, Barry.
Pipe down, dude.
Pipe down. Barking up the wrong tree, buddy. The works have been awesome for this one. Hector Barrios gets them out on the turf. I don't think I really have to explain that one. So 6, 8, and 10 for me in this race. Barry, you went to the same spot. How does this happen? What are we doing?
We're handicapping. That's what we're doing.
It's actually called knowing the circuit. All right, 6, 8, and 4 for you. Yeah. Do you have much to add to the 6 and 8 here?
Yeah, actually, both of those horses are coming out of the same race, and that was Petite Marie really got the worst of it. I mean, the chart and the comment in the form really doesn't do it justice. This horse just didn't get a great run at this at all, and then once they had some room in the stretch, they started running hard. And I think Petite Marie, unfortunately, is going to get bet way down here. I would gather this horse would probably be 8-5, 9-5 at post time, but well deserved and probably will seal the deal. The 8 ran pretty good in that race as well, was just a little bit wider, but didn't have the same kind of finishing kick that the 6 had. So that's why I put them second. That seemed to be a pretty good race to include. I almost put the other horse that was in that race, the 3 Cadence Gal, in this, but I changed my mind and went to the 4 Savvy Tiger. Phil D'Amato does good with first-time starters. He's kind of cold this year, but he typically does okay and good enough. And his horse flesh is typically better than the cast of characters we have in this race. Yeah, so I'm just relying on that a little bit. Plus, he's getting Top Rider and Rispoli. I think there might be something there where this horse gets in the picture.
That was race 6. Start of the late pick 5 tomorrow at Del Mar. If you are betting the pick 5, of course, check out our friends over at Amwager and amwager.com. If you miss out on leg 1 of the late pick 5, you can hit here in the late pick 4. 6 furlongs on the dirt in an optional claimer at the $50,000 level. Non-2 lifers, $81,000 on the line, 3 and up in here, Barry. Another fun one, frankly, as far as the morning line maker is concerned. September 64, who we have seen a number of times not win, is the favorite in here. And I'm not picking on that horse, Barry, but it's one that just seems to always finish second or third, is September 64. What do you do with September 64?
We're going to put him second, like he likes to finish a lot.
How that goes. Guess where I got that horse?
Second.
Hey!
But I went to the 9, Roscoe's Brother. That race was pretty good. It was fast, and this horse ran very, very professionally first time out. And I think that will continue. There's not many horses that ran a race faster than that one. And they're situated on the outside in the 9 post, which is good because he's a knockout, is going to have to fly to get to the front. And I think that heats up this pace enough to where this horse can get a great trip. Jaramillo does wonders with these kind of horses a lot. He used to do it down here at Gulfstream. Now he's out west doing the same thing. Just being forwardly placed will get this horse right in contention, and I think they are the goods here. 8-1. I think we might get close to that. Okay. And that's really good in a spot like this. So, a 10-horse field, and you got the late sequences coming up. So, yeah, 8-1 on the 9. I'm with it.
Mark Black continuing his excellent work this year, a 17% winner at Del Mar, 9, 6, and 1 for Barry. I've also got the 9 and 6 in my handicapping just a little bit later. I'm going to try the 10 on top here, Barry, and I'm going to use the word try. This is a Cal bred coming out of Cal, out of state company, essentially in all 4 of his starts. It's a 3-year-old son of Smiling Tiger. He won the real good deal last time out at Del Mar, going 7 furlongs. Barry breaks from the 9 in that race. Look at the fractions there, and you tell me if there's another horse in this race that can keep up with those fractions. My sense is no. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try the 10 here on the outside. Joel Rosario got them out last time. This is one who's only ever had Juan Hernandez or Joel Rosario. The only loss is over 1 1/8 on the turf. This one moves to the dirt last time for the first time. Loves it for Carla Gaines. She goes at 16% with horses that won last time. She wins sprints at 17%, and she goes second off of this kind of layoff at 19%. So all those numbers add up for me. She and Joel are just getting a couple of mounts together at this point, but this is one of the more successful, obviously. 10, 6, and 9 for me. I actually don't mind the outside post because of what this horse did in the real good deal last time. And so 10, 6, and 9 for me, Barry. A little bit different than your 9, 6, and 1, but many.
You don't
of the
think
same
Matt at
horses here,
5,
for
the
sure.
8 is fast enough? You don't think that? No, that one. Maybe.
Probably be the one. I do think he's a knockout will be a little bit better out of the gate.
What about
But
the 2?
it's Hector Barrios, though, so he might get out of the gate pretty damn fast, bro. You're not wrong about the 8 there. That might be right.
That's tough. He's gonna send. That's what I mean.
100%. Oh, he's got to
it's
send. I
tough,
agree with that.
but
Yeah.
you might be right though. The 10 might be better, especially situated from the outside. It's kind of difficult when you're between horses. That's like the worst position. You know, when I'm ever watching races and I see my horse between horses, I'm like ready to throw the program and do the thing. You know.
I get it. Yeah. And look, Mega Moon on the outside, the 12 horse is interesting as well. I don't think they know exactly what to do with him. Right. We see the mile, we see the 6.5, we see 5.5, we see 6, we see a mile again, that kind of stuff. I just don't know that they know what they want to do there. But again, in race 7, I'll go 10, 6, and 9. Barry will try 9, 6, and 1. And we will move on to race 8, which begins the late pick 3 at Del Mar, $3 minimum on that 15% takeout. And I think this week very much worth playing, especially if you think you can beat Gold Phoenix in the closer. 12-5 claimer here, on to Lifer, 6 furlongs on the dirt, 28 grand in the kitty, 3 and up here, Barry. I'll go first in an even numbered race. And I landed on a couple of odd horses. And by a couple, I mean 3 of them. The 11 horse here is Hankering. You know, Barry, you and I enjoy old white guy expressions.
Oh yeah, hankering's up there.
Hankering's way up there, is it? I'm hankering for a burger. I'm
hankering. You know that here you go, Mindless Spears. You know that old cartoon commercial where it was like an after school commercial, and there's a little guy with a cowboy hat, and he's hankering for a hunker.
Yeah,
wagon wheel, right? He's talking about making wagon wheels, whatever that is. I can't even remember, but I remember the commercial, and every time I hear the word hankering, that's what I think about. See,
Barry remembers because he's old enough. He was born in a wagon. So there you go. Mind of Spears.
Little House on the Prairie, to be honest, but we'll talk about that at another time.
No one get dysentery on this show. 11, 1, and 9 for me. Hankering for Mike Pipey, man. I love this guy. A win on debut. This horse has been in a couple different barns. Mike has not won first off the claim in a while. I'm not going to lie. He's 0 for his last 5. But I think this horse is just the best horse of this race. And was under Cesar Belmont last time. Gets Drayden Van Dyke, man. Cool to see his name back on the press performances. Glad he's doing well enough to feel like he can be riding again. Does already have a win in 4 seconds since coming back. Barry, I want everyone to think about that. Guy's off for a long time because he needs it. And I give him a ton of credit for taking that time, making sure he's okay. Immediately 5 finishes in the top 2 in 11 races. That he's just talented, and it's good to see him back. And that's why we want to see him back. He's a good rider. Give us as many of those as we can get in this Southern California circuit. I'll just take Hankering because I think this son of Cat Burglar is just the best in the field. And so I will go with him on top. 11-1 means that I've got Stanford Dropout, which is much more of a description of us than anything that on this, right? I mean, I might be hankering for things, but Stanford Dropout seems to fit a little too well. Antonio Fresu, who, by the way, announced he'll be at Belmont Park this winter. Once they open their gates there. This one was just missed under Armando Ayuso last out at this level. I think this is exactly where this horse needs to be. And then the 9 horse, of course, is Bazooka Charlie. And no, I'm not sticking up for my kid here, but rather this is a horse dropping into the proper kind of, I just think the right kind of company. This horse has been very competitive in 25s before. I think getting to 12-5 makes a ton of sense here for the Hess barn. And I think at this point, they're probably ready for this one to get claimed as well. So hopefully they'll get the win and they'll get this one to be claimed as well. 11, 1, and 9 for me. You have a pair of those horses in your handicapping here. I was surprised to see you go to the rail here, but the dropout thing might have put you over the top, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking of like the good Kanye, the old Kanye, College Dropout. So, that kind of stuck with me a little bit, but I think Stanford Dropout is pretty good in this spot. I mean, they lost by a neck last time in an open 12-5. I mean, that's as good as a win for me. And they're dropping into the non-winners of 2 level off the claim for Steve Knapp, who's very, very shrewd with claims, getting their top rider in Antonio Fresu. I think they're going to get the trip also. They don't really want the lead, and I think they'll have a target in Hankering. And there's a couple other horses that might get into the pace situation, including the 10 Amador and possibly the 13 if they get in. or
Oh,
if they
no.
don't scratch.
Barry.
Uh-oh.
Barry.
Sorry.
Are you going to AEs? Are you hanging out with me that much?
No, it's not an AE. They're
Oh, okay.
drawn
Thank
in,
God.
but
Okay.
if
Okay.
they run, I mean, typically, sometimes you see horses draw the 13 and they just won't run.
Man,
Yeah,
just want to.
I know.
Sure, bro. I thought you were turning into me. No one needs more of me. Don't do that.
Well,
It's enough. What is
the
enough?
jury's still out on
Plenty.
that.
Way too much, maybe. Hoy, not you, Barry.
But Stanford Dropout, that last race kind of did the thing for
Yeah,
me. I think this
sure.
horse can pair up and be
Yep.
just as good and win this race. The 9 Bazooka Charlie, like you said, this level seems to fit. I mean, the drop makes a ton of sense. They should get a decent pace to run into. And I just wouldn't want to take too short of a price on Bazooka Charlie. And the last horse I got is the 5 Beneficial, who is probably going to be part of the pace, but I thought this horse was better than the rest of them and will hang around a little longer.
Did win at 5.5 for Tim Yaktine before moving to the Jeff Mullins barn. That would be Barry's Jeff Mullins play of the day. We move on to race 9, which is the late double. $5 late double. Pat O'Brien is the first of those. The grade 2 event here, $250,000 on the line, 3 and up. You do get a spot in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Sprint on the male side of things at 6 furlongs at Keeneland. If you win this race, I believe every horse in here is nominated for the Breeders' Cup, except for the Calbred Big City Lights, who's the 7-2 8 horse in here. Barry, race 9 means you go first. Even though I kind of want you to go first in the next race, we're going to keep traditions alive on this thing that we've barely been doing for a year and a half. You went to the 5 here, and that is Bartholdi. And I am fascinated that you are going to this one. And if you tell me it's a ship and win thing, I'm probably going to vomit, but go ahead.
No, it's not, actually. I mean, because Jose D'Angelo claimed this horse for $100K last time.
$100K.
And to wheel this horse back into this race actually makes a lot of sense. This race didn't come up as strong as I think people would have thought. You hear the Pat O'Brien every year and you think these are going to be the, vying for favoritism in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. But I don't think any of these horses really are. They'll probably run maybe a couple of them. Like if March of Time happens to run well, I think that one would be pointed that way. And whoever the winner is gets this is a win and you're in, I believe. Yep. So they'll go in, but the rest of them are kind of iffy. Big City Lights has been knocking on the door for quite a while, but just can never get over the hump at this company. Although I do like that horse in this spot, it might be his turn. But for a race that's a sprint, technically, there's not much speed here. And that's why I went to Bartholdi. I think that this horse will blow the doors off him again. Just go to the front and get brave and win this race at a decent price. I think they might get dismissed a little bit because they really haven't performed all that well in graded stakes. But I think this is just the perfect storm of things to assemble so they can win this race here.
I worry Bartholdi's a Lasix horse. Are you worried about that?
No. Okay. Not when he's going to get a easier trip. See, if the race was, if I thought the race was going to be harder than the last one, I would say yes.
You just think he's gone. He's just gone in this race. Is what you're
I think he's just going to get to the front and be able to control the pace. And I don't, I'm not a vet or anything, but I just don't think that'll affect this horse too much.
5, 9, and 8 for Barry in the Pat O'Brien. I will go 8, 2, and 1, and I will use the only non-Breeders' Cup nominated horse in this field. His name is Big City Lights. He is the Calbred. Kazushi Kimura keeps them out here. He has won both of his mounts aboard him recently, one with Lasix at 7 furlongs at Santa Anita, and one of them without at 6 furlongs at Santa Anita. And frankly, Barry, I think you look at the winning margin in that race and you go, oh, it's only a length and a half. If that's a 7 furlong race, Barry, he wins for fun. Okay. And I want to be clear, Thirsty Rebel and Booksmart are not as good as the horses in this field, but his times simply match up as well as anything we're going to see in this field. It's not on the turf in the Stormy Liberal. It's not in the Breeders' Cup at a grade 1, but if he's in any other kind of company, he's very, very, competitive. 3rd place in this race last year, 3rd place in the Triple Bend as well, won the Palos Verdes at 6 furlongs and in the grade 3 at Santa Anita Park as well. I think he absolutely fits in here. So I'll go 8-2-1 with him on top. I'll then go to Dr. Venkman and Barry. Simple analysis here. He is 4 for 8 at Del Mar. That is the analysis. True. I'm not going to overthink it. The Crosby was not good. I will not lie to the audience. The Crosby was not good. Frankly, it wasn't good enough. It was unacceptable, if you will. But Antonio Fresu keeps the mount here. Phil D'Amato, he's done crazier things and go from, I don't know, the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, and then taking off 8 months and almost winning this darn race last year. And so I do think he'll have this one ready to go. Winner of an optional at Oaklawn earlier this year, won the Triple Bend. I think absolutely fits that's Stronghold. Fits in here as well. But no, the Bing Crosby for Dr. Venkman did not fit. But getting back to this, winner of this race last year. And then I do have Stronghold third in my handicapping. I just skipped ahead there. I think Stronghold's an interesting one, Bear. I was hoping he was going to be a little bit better after winning the Santa Anita Derby, but I do like that they've got him going the 6 and the 7. I think the 7's probably the best for him at a distance. And so 8-2-1 for me, 5, 9, and 8 for you. You don't need to talk about the 8, but you do need to talk about the 9. And that horse's name is March of Time. Bob Baffert, look at you going off Lasix with a couple of horses here. Bob Baffert, Juan Hernandez. This one's pretty fast, though.
Yeah, the only thing is this horse runs once a year. I guess it's very encouraging that you see this horse running for the 3rd time in the year, which they've never done. So obviously this horse is feeling good. Has the speed to win a race like this, just needs to trip and be able to stay healthy and last. I think that this horse has the potential to kind of blow this one open, and they scare me. I'm afraid that the price is going to be well below that 5-1. And I don't think this horse is probably, any value under 3-1. So it's really a tough call, but I think this horse is really going to run well for the Bregman family and Bob Baffert, but this is a tough race all the way around. And I think Bartholdi has the pace advantage.
5, 9, and 8 for Barry, 8-2-1 for me here in the Pat O'Brien. Race 9 starts that late $5 double there at Del Mar. By the way, on Saturday, you will have to also put up $5 to play the late double at Kentucky Downs as they get going on Saturday. Oh my God, Barry, I just realized there's 3 tracks going.
Wait, they're running at the same time? No.
How will we ever do it? Oh my gosh.
Does that happen? What? It's a foreign concept. I don't play 2 tracks.
This is supposed to be like Thanksgiving games with the NFL. There's only one at a time. It's only supposed to be like NBA on Christmas, 1 track at a time. Can't do
but
2.
There's like 7 games that day, though.
You thought I wasn't going to bring it up, did you? All right, the closer on the card is the handicap. It is the Del Mar handicap, grade 2. It is a win and in for the Breeders' Cup Turf. We're going a mile and 3/8. You'll have to go a mile and 4/8, a mile and a half in the Breeders' Cup. But the Del Mar handicap is presented by the Japan Racing Association. 3 turns for this one, Barry. 3 and up, $300,000 on the line in this one. And Test Score making the trip back to the West Coast did run a third by a half length in the Hollywood Derby after winning the Twilight Derby at Santa Anita last year. As a 3-year-old, Gold Phoenix is in here, as you mentioned, trying to win this race for the 19th straight year. He's the only horse in America that's been allowed to run past the age of 10, and he has taken full advantage. He's now 22 years old, and he's won this race 15 years in a row. Maz is in here, a horse that I think we thought was going to come over and be really good from the French ranks. It just hasn't kind of worked out there. Atitlan's in here, Mondigo, I think of as very similar horses, but both very, very interesting. Barry, go ahead. Tell us you're going to try to beat Gold Phoenix.
I am not. I will not. And it's the race I'm most looking forward to because I just like seeing Gold Phoenix run, even though most of the time I'm trying to bet against him because of his running style. It's funny because in June in the San Juan Capistrano, he won by 5, which is atypical. He's usually just getting up over horses at the very, very end. But he's in great form still as an 8-year-old. He's going to get a good setup. He's faster than all of these horses. I just expect him to do the thing. Hopefully it's just not heart attack material.
I have bad news. It's going to be heart attack material. He did win the San Juan Capistrano at 1 3/4 at Santa Anita Park. Before that was 7th in the Turf Classic here at Churchill Downs. And by here, I mean where I live. And then the San Luis Rey, he won before that at 1.5 miles as well. A real distance specialist. Frankly, when you get under that 1 3/8, it gets a little tougher for him. He did win the Eddie Reed last out. Hector Barrios keeps them out. The two of them seem to be a very, very good match as well. Barry, I got him second by handicapping. I'm going to take a swing here. And I'm taking a swing with test score. I have been told, and I don't know if you've heard this narrative, but there's this guy named Barry Spears, and he's on the Horse Racing Happy Hour, and he's talked a lot about the shipping wins this year and the horses outside of California being really great. And I haven't talked to him today, so I'll have to catch up with him. But I imagine he's going to pick Gold Phoenix because he loves chalk. But I think that in this case, test score. What a stupid thing to say. The second place finisher in the Manhattan and the unfortunate sixth place finisher there in the Arlington Million gets Juan Hernandez, who was aboard for that Twilight Derby win and then for the Hollywood Derby. That frankly, if it had been any longer, that horse wins the race. But the mile and an eighth, I think, caught up with him. The longer distance here, I think, absolutely plays to him, and he's not in with deterministic and test. Oh wait, he's test score. Oh, right. So he was right there with deterministic. Got it. That's the level he's at. I'll go 2-4. I'm only using those two, Barry. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm only going to use those. I think he absolutely belongs in this kind of company. If you're making the case that this is just, hey, I get Gold Phoenix. He is 6 for 11 at this track. He's 4 for 4 at the distance. That's what I'm doing. God bless you. That's fine. That's called handicapping, and that's called reading the form in the most obvious spots. But I'll go 2-4. I will use both, and that is double chalk, unfortunately. But I think the two absolutely has a shot to win here. And frankly, Barry, even if their numbers are close in the betting window, I bet in the pick 3, it's like a 30% difference.
Yeah, most likely.
If it pays $100 for, I'm just using it. If it pays $100 for Gold Phoenix, it'll pay like 130 for test score, something like that. I think he's worth that kind of lift in the betting.
Yeah, that's probably correct. But my problem with test score, and I do have him in my handicapping here, is the fact that I don't think this horse wants to go that far. And I know he ran decent against deterministic, but really his efforts after the Pegasus haven't been all that great. He went in the Turf Classic at Churchill and laid an egg. The Manhattan was a decent race, but he still kind of fizzled out late, and he had dead aim on deterministic to go by and didn't. And then the Arlington Million was just a head scratcher because this horse was never involved. And I don't think that's the right way to come into a race like this. I mean, you could see how this horse did last year coming out west in the Twilight Derby off of that Kentucky Downs long race. So I don't really think this horse really wants to go this distance, but they may be better than most of these horses in this race and getting the money. And that's what I'm kind of relying on. As far as, he does have a lot of class, and it probably will show in this race.
12 times in the money and 16 runs, all of them on turf. He's only tried the distance once, did not hit the board, put up a 91 speed figure, and that was in the Nashville Derby at Kentucky Downs. So that I don't know how much you want to hold that up as part of the data for this race, but here we are nonetheless. Well, he's Barry. I'm Louie. That's been SoCal Saturdays for the weekend. Who you got in the Travers, Bear?
We're going with Napoleon Solo, my friend.
You and Bobby Hill. How about that? Why not? I really don't hate that take at all.
Hey, well, I feel a lot better now, so I'm going to go with 2 fists rather than 1.
He told me not to worry about his training style and just to stick to radio. So I'm going to go with the Brad Cox trainee and leading change. Third race ever. Wins the Travers. Angers the 3-year-old people, including Sean Collins. My name's Louie Rebell. Thanks for hanging out with me on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. He's Barry Spears. Find him at Urban Handicapper on the socials, and of course me at Radio Louie on the socials as well. By the way, up right now, if you want to go catch it before they get going tonight, my preview of the Chucktown races with Paul Espinosa. What do you call him, Barry?
Oh, the Golden Pipes. That guy is the best voice in the business.
He's as good as it gets. He's also a really great guy. Sets the morning lines there so he can explain all of his rationale that he does in that episode. It's up behind this one. Bob's analysis from this morning on Saratoga is up at the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Now you got Del Mar. And if you listen tonight to the Kentucky Racing Spotlight, you can hear from Josh Rodriguez and me on the middle part of the card at Kentucky Downs tomorrow. Oh my God, 4 tracks. Whatever will we do? Good luck with your wagers this weekend.